Hi, good afternoon. Can you all hear me? All right, I'm Judge Salvia Smith Fox. I'm going to preside over your first appearance hearings this afternoon. Let me ask a question to the deputies there at the jail. I got notice that there was one person that needs an interpreter. Are they in this group of people? I have the interpreter with me. I just want to make sure that that person that speaks Spanish is going to hear the instructions.
Yes, Your Honor. We have one group today.
Oh, it's just one group?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The person that speaks Spanish, are they towards the front? I want to make sure that they can hear the interpreter. Okay. All right, let me have all the defendants. Please raise your right hand.
Todos los acusados, por favor, levanten su mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the information you provided in your application for court-appointed counsel is true and correct? If so, say, I do.
I do.
Usted jura y afirma que la información que usted puso en su solicitud para que le nombre un abogado de oficio es correcta y verdadera. Si así es, diga que sí, lo juro. I swear.
All right, thank you. You can put your hands down.
Gracias, pueden bajar su mano.
All right, I want to go over a few things with you so you understand the nature of these proceedings.
Yo quiero abarcar varias cosas con ustedes para que usted entienda mejor la naturaleza de este proceso.
I am not here to try your case or to take a plea in your case.
Yo no estoy acá para juzgar su caso o para aceptar una declaración a cargos en su caso.
Instead, I am here to inform you of what you are charged with. If you have a bond, what that bond amount is, and your next currently scheduled court date.
En lugar de esto, yo estoy acá para decirle de lo que se le acusa, de si tiene fianza, de cuánto sería su fianza y decirle para cuándo está programada su próxima corte.
I also want to advise you of certain rights that you have.
Yo también quiero ponerlo en conocimiento de cuáles son sus derechos constitucionales.
You have the right to remain silent,
Usted tiene el derecho de permanecer en silencio,
the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt,
el derecho de hacer que el Estado pruebe su culpabilidad más allá de una duda razonable,
the right to indictment by grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors,
el derecho de tener una acusación formal por vía del jurado acusador o indagador o de una acusación formal si es un delito menor.
the right to a speedy and public trial by jury,
El derecho de tener un juicio público rápido y por jurado,
the right to see, hear, and cross-examine all witnesses that are called to testify against you,
el derecho de ver, escuchar y contrainterrogar a todos los testigos que sean citados para testificar en su contra,
the right to compel the attendance of witnesses in your own behalf,
el derecho de obligar a testigos que vengan a testificar a su favor,
the right to testify and offer other evidence in your own defense.
y el derecho de testificar y mostrar otras pruebas para ser usadas en su defensa,
And the right to be represented by an attorney.
y el derecho de ser representado por un abogado.
And at this point, I am going to appoint an attorney to represent each one of you.
Y en estos momentos yo le voy a nombrar a un abogado para que lo represente a cada uno de ustedes.
Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds. Those bonds may be cash, commercial, or property bonds.
A algunos de ustedes se le va a permitir que pague la fianza, se le va a permitir que la pague en efectivo, usando una compañía comercial o usando una casa o usando una propiedad como garantía.
If you decide to post a cash bond, you will pay the full amount in cash to the sheriff, and you'll receive all of that money back after the final disposition of your case.
Si usted decide pagar su fianza en efectivo, usted pagaría su fianza en efectivo a la comisaría y este dinero se lo reembolsarían cuando su caso se cierre.
Or you can go through a commercial bonding company. These are private companies. They charge different fees, typically up to 15% of the amount of your bond.
O usted podría usar una compañía fiancista. Esas son compañías privadas. Ellos cobran diferentes tarifas y le podrían cobrar hasta 15% de la cantidad total de su fianza.
Once you pay this percentage to the bonding company, you will not receive that money back.
Pero tan pronto usted pague este porcentaje a la compañía fiancista, esta cantidad no le sería reembolsada.
If you decide to post a property bond, you would need to find someone that has at least 3 times the amount of equity in their property as the amount of your bond.
Si usted quiere usar una propiedad para pagar su fianza, usted tiene que encontrar a alguien que tenga participación neta de hasta 3 veces la cantidad total de su fianza.
All of you will have a special condition on your bond not to violate any new laws while you are out on bond.
Todos ustedes van a tener una condición especial en su fianza y es que no infrinjan ninguna de las leyes mientras usted esté fuera bajo fianza.
Some of you will have additional special conditions which will prohibit you from contacting certain people or going back to certain locations.
Algunos de ustedes van a tener condiciones especiales adicionales en las cuales se le prohíbe ir a ciertos lugares o de que se le acerquen a ciertas personas.
Understand that the court takes these special conditions very seriously.
Entienda que la corte toma estas condiciones especiales muy en serio.
If you were to violate any of the special conditions, your bond would be revoked, additional charges could be added, and you would not be entitled to a new bond while you are awaiting trial.
Si usted infringe cualquiera de las condiciones de su fianza sería revocada, le podrían imputar cargos adicionales y no le darían fianza nuevamente mientras usted espera ir a juicio.
You could be charged with aggravated stalking, influencing a witness, or other charges as the law may provide.
A usted se le podría imputar el cargo de agresión o persecución ilícita con agravante, de influenciar cualquier testigo o cualquier otro cargo que la ley permita.
You could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and fined up to $10,000.
Usted podría ser sentenciado hasta 10 años en prisión y a pagar una multa de hasta $10,000.
If you have a no contact provision with someone, that person will not be allowed to post your bond.
Si usted tiene condiciones que dicen que usted no puede tener contacto con una persona, a esa persona no se le va a permitir pagar la fianza por usted.
Some of you are on active probation, for which this court would not be authorized to grant you a bond.
Algunos de ustedes están bajo libertad condicional y por esta razón a esta juez no se le va a permitir concederle fianza.
I'm going to set preliminary hearings for you. If you have any misdemeanor charges, your preliminary hearing will be set for November 3rd.
Yo le voy a fijar audiencias preliminares para las personas que tienen cargos por delitos menores y si ese es el caso, su audiencia preliminar va a estar fija para el 3 de noviembre.
If you have any felony charges, your preliminary hearing will be November 8th.
Si usted tiene cargos por delitos graves, su audiencia preliminar va a ser fija para el 8 de noviembre.
The preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing for the court to determine whether or not there is enough probable cause to keep you detained on your charges.
La audiencia preliminar es una audiencia para establecer motivo fundado y para que la juez o el juez determine si usted podría continuar siendo detenido por estos cargos.
The preliminary hearing is held here in Magistrate Court.
La audiencia preliminar la tenemos acá en el Tribunal de Primera Instancia.
If you have misdemeanor charges only, you will have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing.
Usted solo tiene cargos por delitos menores, usted va a tener la opción de renunciar a tener su audiencia preliminar.
If you decide to waive your preliminary hearing, it will expedite your case to state court, where you will receive a court date in 7 to 10 days.
Si usted decide renunciar a tener su audiencia preliminar, esto va a acelerar su caso y enviarlo al tribunal estatal, donde usted va a poder ir a la corte dentro de los próximos 7 a 10 días.
If you have any felony charges, you will not have this option.
Si usted tiene cargos por delitos graves, usted no va a tener esta opción.
You will have to wait to speak with an attorney first before you decide whether or not you want to waive your preliminary hearing.
Primero usted va a tener que hablar con un abogado antes de que usted decida si quiere renunciar a tener su audiencia preliminar o no.
All right. During your first appearance hearing, you also have the option to have the charges read aloud to you.
Durante su primera vista o su audiencia inicial, usted también tiene la opción de que le lean los cargos en voz alta.
In that event, I will read the warrant or the probable cause affidavit from the officer.
Y en ese caso, yo le leería la orden de arresto o el affidavit emitido por el oficial.
If you already know what you're charged with, or you do not want the sensitive information that is contained in the warrant or the affidavit read aloud, you can waive the reading of your charges.
Si ya usted sabe de lo que se le acusa, o si usted no quiere que esta información, la cual es sensible, se lea en voz alta, usted puede renunciar al hecho de que se le lea o a que se le lea la orden de arresto.
If you waive the formal reading of your charges, I will still let you know what you're charged with and what your bond amount is.
Si usted renuncia a la lectura formal de sus cargos, yo todavía le diría cuáles son los cargos en su contra.
All right, so I will begin calling you all up individually so I can give you your case information.
Yo lo voy a llamar de manera individual para darle información individual de su caso.
All right, what's your name, sir, so I can get your paperwork?
Señor, ¿cuál es su nombre para yo poder buscar su documentación?
Cornelio Ábrego.
¿Cuál es su nombre?
Cornelio Ábrego, Emerson.
Emerson.
Cornelio Ábrego.
Interpreter cannot hear the first name.
I can't hear at the jail. Can you all let me know or put it in the chat what his name is?
Yes, Your Honor, I put it in the chat now.
All right. I'm just waiting. Oh, I think I have it. Did he say Emerson?
He said Emerson. I did not hear anything else.
I think Emerson Cornelio. All right. Okay, I have his paperwork. All right, good afternoon, sir.
Buenas tardes, señor.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
All right. And your last name is Cornelio Abrigo? All right.
Sí.
Sir, you are charged with reckless driving. Your bond amount is $1,500.
Señor, ¿a usted se le acusa de manejo temerario o peligroso?
Speeding restrictions violation. Your bond amount is $1,500.
I'm sorry, Judge. I guess the interpreter was speaking at the same time.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Let me slow down. A speeding violation,
De exceso de
bond is $1,500.
y su fianza es de $1,500.
And driving while unlicensed, bond is $1,000.
Y de manejar sin licencia de conducir, su fianza es de $1,000.
All right, so for all three charges, the bond amount is $4,000.
O sea que por los 3 cargos, la cantidad total de su fianza es de $4,000.
All right, sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Señor, ¿renuncia usted a la lectura formal de sus cargos?
No renuncio.
Ah, perdón.
Sí, eso.
Yes, I did that.
All right. Do you want me to read your charges to you, what the officer put in the affidavit, or do you understand what you're charged with?
¿Entiende usted de lo que se le acusa o quiere usted que yo le lea todo lo que la gente puso en el affidavit?
Sería bien si me lo lee, por favor.
It would be good if you can read it, please.
All right. It says that the defendant did on the 18th day of October 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia,
Dice que el acusado hizo esto el 18 de octubre del 2020 en el condado de Clayton, en el estado de Georgia,
at Terra Boulevard and North Carter Drive
en la Tell Boulevard y North Carter Drive,
at approximately 7:49 hours,
aproximadamente a las 7:49 horas,
did commit the following violations of Georgia law.
cometió las siguientes infracciones a la ley de Georgia:
Reckless driving,
manejo peligroso o temerario,
speeding 35 miles per hour and over,
ir a exceso de velocidad 35 millas por hora por encima del límite,
driving while unlicensed.
y de manejar sin licencia de conducir.
In that said offender was found speeding while driving a black in color 2015 Toyota Corolla.
Y que el acusado fue encontrado yendo a exceso de velocidad mientras conducía un Toyota Corolla negro del 2015.
Then it gives the VIN number and state of Georgia tag number CNU9906.
Y esto con las placas de Georgia de identificación CNV9906.
On the public roadway of Terra Boulevard northbound.
En la carretera pública de la Terra Boulevard yendo norte.
At the time, I was stationed at the Happy Store gas station on Terra Boulevard at North Main Street.
En ese momento yo estaba estacionado en la gasolinera Happy que está en la Terra Boulevard y la North Street.
Operating my departmental issued Dragon Eye speed LiDAR.
I'm sorry, Judge, the interpreter didn't get that.
Okay. Operating my departmental issued Dragon Eye speed LiDAR, which is like the speed, the radar.
Oh, okay. Y que en ese momento
Radar.
yo estaba operando el radar de mi departamento, Dragon.
The serial number is 14445.
Y el número de serie es 1445.
When I clocked the defendant traveling northbound on Terra Boulevard at an accelerated speed of 86 miles per hour.
Cuando yo pude activar el radar y vi al acusado yendo norte a una velocidad en la Terra Boulevard de 86 millas por hora.
On a 45 mile per hour.
En una zona de 45 millas por hora.
The defendant doubled the posted speed limit with the disregard for the safety of not only himself, but other motorists traveling on the public roadway.
Y el acusado iba a más del doble o iba al doble de la velocidad de límite, no solamente poniendo en peligro su vida, pero la del resto de la población en una carretera pública.
During my traffic stop investigation, the defendant was asked for his driver's license.
Durante el momento que lo paré y cuando hacía investigación por la infracción de tránsito, al acusado se le pidió su licencia de conducir,
which he stated that he was an unlicensed driver
por el cual él dijo que él era un chofer sin licencia,
and handed me his Republica of El Salvador passport and identification card.
y me entregó el pasaporte de la República del Salvador y su identificación.
All right. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you.
Señor, yo le voy a nombrar un abogado para que lo represente.
Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
¿Quiere usted renunciar a tener su audiencia preliminar?
No.
No.
All right, your preliminary hearing will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201.
Su audiencia preliminar va a estar fija para el 3 de noviembre a las 8 de la mañana en la sala 201.
All right, thank you, sir.
Ok, gracias, señor.
All right, there at the jail, did you all have anyone else that speaks Spanish that needs an interpreter?
A las 8 de la mañana.
I think he's asking a question.
A las 8 de la mañana.
A las 8 de la mañana.
Sí, ese
Okay, what's your question, sir?
Señor, ¿cuál es su pregunta?
Ah, solo era para ver la hora de la mañana. Solo quería saber la hora que me tocaba en la mañana.
I just wanted to know the time.
Oh, 8 o'clock.
A las 8 de la mañana.
we gonna start rolling. We gonna put-
Did you, no one else speaks Spanish, Your Honor. Did you, that was the last one. Then I got a
Okay.
question.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Bermudez.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Your Honor, did you want to do the fugitive of justice last, or did you want to go ahead and do her first?
So they wanna start being-
Whatever's easiest for you all.
All righty.
What's her name?
It's Tara Mora,
Okay.
Safaro Walker Mora. And also, we have the females ready in alphabetical order whenever you're ready for them also. Your Honor.
Okay. Let me find Miss Moore and then I'll do the females. All right. Safara Moore and then Janie Curry.
Did you have a Hamilton on there?
A female, Elizabeth?
Oh, Curry is out the bond, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Well then, yes, Hamilton would be next.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Don't do nothing yet.
All right. Good afternoon, ma'am. Are you Miss Tafara Mora? Ma'am? Are you Miss Mora?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear. All right, you are being charged with being a fugitive from justice. Since you are wanted by another jurisdiction, you have no bond set at this time. This is what's called an extradition hearing. You're entitled to have an extradition hearing before we release you to that other jurisdiction, or you can waive that extradition hearing and voluntarily agree to return back to that state. Says on the probable cause affidavit that you are wanted by the Escambia County Sheriff's Office in Florida for grand theft auto, warrant number 19WAR029383. It's a felony charge and they wish to extradite you back on that charge. So if you decide to voluntarily return back to Florida and waive your extradition hearing, I'll get you to sign a waiver. They will have 10 business days. We'll contact Florida, let them know that you're here, and they'll have 10 business days to come pick you up or we'll release you from our jail. If you want to have an extradition hearing, I will appoint an attorney to represent you. We can hold you for up to 90 days in our jail awaiting that hearing. We'll prepare a warrant under our governor's signature to hold you, but you would not be able to try your case here because your case isn't in Clayton County. But you would be able to contest 4 things. 1, whether the extradition documents are in order on their face. 2, whether you are charged with a crime that actually exists in the demanding state of Florida. 3, whether you are the person named in the request for extradition. And 4, whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. So ma'am, did you want to voluntarily return back to Florida?
I do.
All right, so they will have some waiver forms for you to sign. And then, like I said, Florida will be contacted for them to come pick you up from our jail.
Great.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
That's it?
All right, Elizabeth Hamilton.
Okay.
All right, and okay, hold on. And then after Miss Hamilton will be Michelle Barnes. All right, Miss Hamilton?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you are charged with theft by taking. Your bond is $2,000. Violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Your bond is $5,000. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes.
All right. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set for November 8th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Bye,
All right, Michelle Barnes, and then next will be Serafina Bell.
Okay, can I write down this Microsoft, please?
All right, are you Miss Barnes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon. Ms. Barnes, you have 4 counts of violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, $5,000 bond on each count, use or possession of drug-related objects, $1,000 bond, dangerous drugs in a container violation, $1,000 bond, possession of THC oil, $1,000 bonds, and distracted driving, $1,000 bond. So it looks like the total is $24,000. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges? All right, you have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set for November 8th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. All right, thank you, ma'am. Serafina Bell. After Ms. Bell will be Jocelyn Kitchens. All right, are you Ms. Bell? Are you Ms. Bell? Are you Ms. Bell? Can you hear me?
Loud, speak up loud.
Yes, I see you.
All right, ma'am, you are charged with battery, family violence. Your bond is $4,000. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes.
A special condition to stay away and have no contact with Tanya Bell.
No.
Says your mother. Also, not to violate. I couldn't hear you.
Your Honor,
Do you understand your bond conditions?
Your Honor, the internet is breaking up for us over here.
Oh, can you all hear me? Is the internet out?
It's not out, but it's
Can
breaking.
you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you good now.
It's a little testy. Okay. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Tanya Bell and not to violate any laws while on bond. You understand that? All right, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing and expedite your case to state court? All right, ma'am, your hearing will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, ma'am.
Step over here, you gotta put up there.
At 8 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am. November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Jocelyn Kitchens, after Ms. Kitchens, Shakia McKnight.
It's a
It's a
pen
pen
over
over
there.
there.
Come on.
Pen over here, man.
All right. Are you Ms. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, you are charged with battery, family violence. Your bond is $4,000. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Derek Coleman, date of birth June 13th, 1976. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And also not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, they will have a waiver form for you to sign, and then you will be excused.
Step right over there.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Shakia McKnight, and then Anna Minton. All right, are you Ms. McKnight?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, you are charged with hit and run. Your bond is $1,500, and driving while unlicensed, your bond is $1,000. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
What does that mean? If I waive it and put me in court faster?
No, do you want me to read the affidavit from the officer, or do you understand what you're charged with?
Understand what I'm charged with, Your Honor?
All right. You'll have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond.
Okay.
I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, your preliminary hearing, and I think this is what you might have been thinking about. It would be set for November 3rd in magistrate court, or you can waive that hearing and expedite your case to state court. Do you want to waive your hearing, or do you want your preliminary hearing on November 3rd?
Waive it means you'll go to court 7 to 10 days.
If I set it for November 3rd, you'll go on November 3rd. If you waive that, then you'll go to court in 7 to 10 days in state court.
I'll waive it.
Okay, so ma'am, they will have a waiver form there for you to sign, and then you will be excused. All right? Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
How much was it?
Anna Minton,
How much was my bond, ma'am?
it was $2,500 for both, $1,500 for the hit and run, and then $1,000 for the no license.
Thank you. Mr. Minton, step up.
Anna Minton,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, are you Miss Minton? All right, and then next will be Nicole Ogle. Miss Minton, you are charged with criminal trespass, damage to property. Sorry about that. Criminal trespass, damage to property. Your bond is $1,500. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Nicole.
What does that mean if I waive it?
Do you want me to read your charges like the affidavit from the officer, or do you understand what you're charged with?
I understand what I'm charged with.
Okay. You'll have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Now, your preliminary hearing, you can have a preliminary hearing on November 3rd in magistrate court, or you can waive that hearing and waive your case to state court, where you'll get a hearing in 7 to 10 days.
Do I have a bond?
You have a bond of $1,500. So either, and if you bond out, the preliminary hearing is automatically waived because it's just for people that are still detained.
Okay, so it's
So
regardless.
do you think you'll be able to bond out? Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing? Or do you,
I'll probably be able to bond out.
okay, so you want to go ahead and waive it?
Yeah.
All right, so there'll be a waiver form for you to sign. And once you bond out, you'll get your next court date in the mail. All right, thank you, ma'am.
How much is the bond again?
$1,500. So 1,500.
Okay.
All right, Nicole Ogle and then Portia Perryman.
Your Honor, did you have a LaQuanda Mitchell on your sheet?
I did. I wanted to do, I think, 5 of them together after I finish Miss Perryman because they have the same charges.
Yes, Your Honor, no problem.
Nicole Ogle and then Portia Perryman. All right, are you Miss Ogle? All right, good afternoon, ma'am. You are charged with violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Your bond is $5,000. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes.
All right. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you are on bond. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is November 8th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, ma'am.
So is there a bond or no?
It's 5,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Portia Perryman.
Portia.
After Miss Perryman, I have LaQuanda Mitchell, Amy Ross, Daniel Scott, Quintavious Weldon, and Michael Barber. Y'all got all those names? They all have the same case. So I want to do them together. Michael Barber, LaQuanda Mitchell, Elizabeth Ross, Daniel Scott, and Quintavious Weldon. All right. Are you Miss Perryman?
Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, you are charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $1,500. Ma'am, I'm going to release you on a signature bond. You will have, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yeah.
All right. You have a special condition not to return to or go upon the premises located at 93 Upper Riverdale Road in Riverdale, and not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yeah.
All right. And I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. And ma'am, since I'm releasing you on a signature bond, I just need for you to sign the waiver of the preliminary hearing, and then you will get your next court date in the mail.
Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right. Would I be able to do, okay, let's see. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Michael Barber, LaQuanda Mitchell, Amy Ross, Daniel Scott, and Quintavious Weldon. Okay. I didn't see everybody at first. All right. Good afternoon. You all have cruelty, felony cruelty to children charges. Where's Mr. Barber?
Where's your hand?
All right, you have 3 charges. LaQuanda Mitchell, you have 3 charges. Amy Ross, you have 1 charge. Daniel Scott, you have 1 charge. And Quintavious Weldon, you have 3 charges. After reviewing the warrants, I did not find probable cause for the felony cruelty to children charges. So I have dismissed that charge and changed it to a misdemeanor contributing to the delinquency or deprivation of a minor. All right. Now let me start with Mr. Barber. You have 3 counts. So your bond is going to be $1,000 for each count. Do you want, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
I want to read.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read, because they're all the same except for the children's names. So I'm going to read Mr. Barber's, and then for everyone else, I'm just going to read the children's names, since everything else will be the same in the warrant. Okay? All the other language is the same dates, and let's see, same information. All right. The defendant did on the 20th day of October 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 611 Sherwood Drive, apartment 11 in Jonesboro, Georgia, at approximately 0045 hours, did commit the following violations of Georgia law. Has the 3 counts of cruelty to children. Said offender did willfully deprive the children to Michael Barber, July 6, 2014, Zaquan Barber, November 10th, 2017, Malaya Mitchell, I think October 10th, 2019, of necessary sustenance to the extent that the children's health or well-being is jeopardized. Michael Barber had clothes, trash, molded food all over the kitchen and living area, bedrooms and hallways, clothes and trash also in the bathroom. The sink in the bathroom is covered in mold. There is a huge hole in the ceiling of the bathroom directly over the sink. The tub has water leaking, but the color of the water has a brownish tint. A table in the living room covered with trash and molded food. All right. And let me see. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
No, ma'am.
All right, it will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. All right, thank you, sir. LaQuanda Mitchell. All right, same thing, ma'am. You also have 3 counts. Special condition not to violate any laws. Excuse me, any laws while you are out on bond. So I have changed your felony charges to the misdemeanor, contributing to the delinquency or deprivation of a minor. Your bond is $1,000 on each count. Yours has the same facts as I read before. And except yours has October 19th. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right. Ma'am, there will be a waiver form for you to sign, and then you will be excused. Thank you, ma'am. Amy Ross, you only have 1 count of cruelty, well, to children, which I've reduced to the misdemeanor, contributing to a delinquency or deprivation of a minor. And the child's name that's listed, all the other facts were the same, but it has the child's name as Jaden Scott, date of birth, December 7th, 2019. All right, and you also have the special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right, your preliminary hearing will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, ma'am. Daniel Scott. You have one count, bond is $1,000. Same thing, the misdemeanor of contributing to delinquency or deprivation of a minor. A special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. And same thing, the child listed in your warrant is Jaden Scott, date of birth, December 7th, 2019. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Yes, all right. Sir, they should have a waiver form there for you to sign, and then you will be excused. Thank you, sir. Quintavious Weldon. All right, same thing. You have 3 counts. Your bond is $1,000 on each count. Special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. And the children listed, to Michael Barber, July 6, 2014, to Quan Barber, November 10th, 2017, and Malaya Mitchell, October 10th, 2019. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right. Sir, they will have a waiver form there for you to sign, and then you will be excused. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Oluku.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Who do you have on the calendar?
I have Mr. Clarkson Biayebo.
Mr. Clarkson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's see if I can find his paperwork.
I'm sorry, I just got the email. I'm in my car.
Okay, I see that. I hope you're not driving.
No. I pulled over.
At the jail, do you all have Clarkson Biayebo? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
All
Perfect.
right. He is on the 20th calendar.
Oh. Yes, Your Honor, he's coming up right now.
Okay. All right, are you Mr. Biayebo? Good afternoon, sir. I have your attorney, Mr. Oluku, on the Zoom. Can you see him?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, you have 4 charges. Hit and run. Your bond is $1,500. Driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe. Your bond is $5,000. No license. Your bond is $1,000. And improper lane change. Your bond is $500. Mr. Oluku, do you waive the formal reading of the charges, or do you want them read?
No, we'll waive, Your Honor.
All right. There'll be a special condition not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. The preliminary hearing I have for the misdemeanors as November 3rd, or does he want to waive the preliminary hearing?
We'll waive, Your Honor.
All right. So there should be a waiver form, sir, there for you to sign. And after you sign that waiver form, you will be excused. Is there anything additional, counsel?
Your Honor, Yes, Your Honor. I was gonna see if the court can reduce the bond a little bit for him. He just started working not too long ago, and that that bond aggregated maybe too high for him to pay.
All right, I'll reduce the DUI to 3,000 instead of 5.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Thanks a lot.
All right. Did you have anyone else on the calendar?
No, that's it, Judge.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
All right, Neon Boston. And after Mr. Boston will be Wildrigo Daniel. Are you Mr. Boston?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. You are charged with criminal trespass. All right, sir, your bond is $1,500. I'm gonna release you on a signature bond. You'll have a special condition not to return to or go upon the premises located at 5515 Ayoka Drive in Lake City. And also not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Sir?
I couldn't hear you. Do you understand? All right. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. And since I'm giving you a signature bond, I will need for you to sign a waiver of the preliminary hearing, and you will get your next court date in the mail. All right. Thank you, sir. Well, Wildrigo Daniel and then Sylvester Davis. All right. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Daniel?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you are charged with giving a false name, address, or date of birth. Your bond is $1,500. Sir, I'm going to release you on a signature bond. You will have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. And sir, since I'm releasing you on a signature bond, I need for you to sign the waiver of the preliminary hearing, and you'll get your next court date in the mail. All right, thank you, sir. Sylvester Davis and then William Dean.
Davis bonded out, Your Honor.
Okay. William Dean. And then Travis Franklin.
Say your name.
Mr. Dean,
Yes, ma'am.
sir, you are charged with 2 counts of theft by taking. Your bond is $2,000 on each count, so your total bond is $4,000. You have a special condition not to return to or go upon the premises located at 5001 Jonesboro Road in Forest Park. I think that's the Shopwise store. And not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, they will have a waiver form there for you to sign, and then you'll be excused. Thank you, sir. Travis Franklin. And then after Mr. Franklin will be Anaya Frazier. All right, are you Mr. Franklin? All right, sir, you are charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $1,500, and obstructing an officer, your bond is $1,500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Oh, is that a good thing?
Do you understand what you're charged with, or do you want me to read the affidavit from the officer?
It did what? Affidavit, yeah, just $500 and $500, $1,000.
No, it's $1,500 each, so it's total of $3,000 bond for both charges. Do you want me to read the affidavit, or do you understand what you're charged with?
I don't understand what I'm charged with.
Okay, let me read it. Says the defendant did on the 18th day of October 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 7342 Hanover Parkway at approximately 0600 hours, did commit the following violations of Georgia law: criminal trespass and obstruction of an officer. In that said offender did commit the act of criminal trespass, a violation of OCGA 16-7-21E, and that offender did knowingly and without authority enter upon the premises of the Hampton Inn located at 7342 Hanover Parkway after receiving, prior to such entry, notice from an authorized representative. The offender did enter the premises after being told he had to leave. On the above date and time in Clayton County, Georgia, offender did commit the act of obstruction of an officer, a violation of OCGA 16-10-24A, and that offender did knowingly and willfully obstruct and hinder Clayton County Police Officer A. Shirley, a law enforcement officer, in the lawful discharge of said officer's official duties by not giving his name and date of birth, fleeing and resisting arrest while conducting an investigation. Sir, I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
What does that mean?
All right, I'm going to set it for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201, and you'll be able to speak with your attorney prior to the hearing. Thank you, sir.
All right. You good to go now?
Yes, thank you, sir. All right, Anaya Frazier. All right, and after Mr. Frazier will be Terrell Kendrick. Are you Mr. Frazier?
Yeah.
All right. You have a question?
I just want to say, if I can't make bond, I'll be evicted on the street by the 8th.
All right. Sir, you are charged with stalking. Your bond is $5,000. Burglary, your bond is $20,000. Aggravated assault, due to the nature of the charges, you have no bond set on that charge. Terroristic threats or acts, your bond is $20,000. Simple battery, $5,000. And 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, your bond is $3,000 on each count. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
Waive it.
All right. Sir, you have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Martia Reed. Date of birth, December 9th, 1987, which means even though you're in the jail, you still cannot contact her or have anyone contact her on your behalf while you're in the jail or if you're released. Not return to or go upon the premises located at 6726 Terra Boulevard, apartment 34F in Jonesboro, and also not to violate any laws while on bond. Sir, I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing will be November 8th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. November 8th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, sir. Terrell Kendrick, and then Emmanuel St. Just. All right, are you Mr. Kendrick? All right, good afternoon, sir. You're charged with an open container violation. Your bond is $500. Hit and run, your bond is $5,000. Dangerous drugs in a container, your bond is $1,500. No insurance, your bond is $1,000. Violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, your bond is $5,000. Driving under the influence, your bond is $5,000. Driving on a suspended or revoked license, your bond is $1,500. Possession of marijuana, 1 ounce or less, your bond is $1,500. And no tag, your bond is $500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
No, ma'am.
All right, let me read them to you. All right, it says the defendant did on the 18th day of October 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 4233 Jonesboro Road, Parkside Crossing, at approximately 6:15 p.m. commit the above referenced charges, the ones that I just read, and that said offender did at strike the person of Omarion Robinson in the parking lot, July 22nd, 2008, in the parking lot of 4233 Jonesboro Road, Parkside Crossing, with the 2000 Mercury Grand Prix silver in color bearing cancel tag number PYU8603 that he was operating. Said tag was run through GCIC, returned as canceled with no insurance. Said offender then left the scene and was observed by Officer Liebert driving said vehicle southbound on Jonesboro Road, coming to a stop at a gas pump on the property of 4962 Jonesboro Road, Texaco. Officers made contact with said offender, who presented a Georgia ID number 055290793. When run through GCIC, the OLN returned multiple suspensions, revocations, including a habitual violator suspension served August 1st, 2017, and a child support suspension on January 27th, 2020. Alcohol was smelled on the breath of said offender, and open containers of Smirnoff vodka and Budweiser beer were located in plain view inside the vehicle. Said offender refused to submit to field sobriety tests. Said offender was arrested and searched incident to arrest. On his person, officers located a prescription bottle with a bag of suspected marijuana. A search of the vehicle was performed, which located 2 bottles of controlled substance, promethazine, bulk size, not for household use. On-scene security for the original incident location arrived at the Texaco and presented a waist-worn bag containing a rectangular yellow pill marked R039. A search returned the pill to be alprazolam, a Schedule 4 controlled substance, as well as another half of a rectangular white pill. All right. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set for November 8th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, sir.
I want to waive my preliminary. I'm sorry.
You have a felony charge, so you'll have to wait and speak with your attorney first before you can waive it. So right now it's set for November 8th. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Emmanuel St. Just, and then Benton Smith. All right, good afternoon. Are you Mr. St. Just?
No.
All right, sir, you are charged with possession of marijuana, 1 ounce or less. Your bond is $1,500. Drug-related objects, use or possession, your bond is $1,000. Sir, I'm going to release you on a signature bond on those 2 charges. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Ma'am.
All right. So I'm also going to appoint an attorney to represent you. And sir, since I'm releasing you on a signature bond, I just need for you to sign a waiver of the preliminary hearing, and you will get your next court date in the mail.
Thank
All right, thank you, sir. Benton Smith and then Farian Tony. Are you Mr. Smith? All right, good afternoon, sir. Sir, you are charged with loitering or prowling. Your bond is $1,000. I'm going to release you on a signature bond. You'll have a special condition not to return to or go upon the premises located at 6060 Old Dixie Road. You understand that, sir? All right, and also not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. And sir, since I'm releasing you on a signature bond, I need for you to sign a waiver of the preliminary hearing, and you'll get your next court date in the mail. All right, thank you, sir. Farian Tony?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon, sir. And then next will be David Walker. Mr. Tony, you are charged with, let's see, no tag, your bond is $500. Fleeing from police officers, your bond is $1,500. And then no insurance, your bond is $1,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
No, ma'am.
I couldn't hear you. All right, it will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. All right, thank you, sir.
I can't bond out.
You have a bond, yes. Your bond is $3,000 on all three charges. If you bond out, the preliminary hearing will automatically be waived and you'll get your next court date in the mail.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir. David Walker and then Kenzel Bolton. Are you Mr. Walker? Good, thank you, sir. Sir, you're charged with DUI, alcohol less safe. Your bond is $5,000. Open container violation, your bond is $500. And parking violation, your bond is $500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
I don't need it. No, ma'am.
I couldn't hear you. Did you want me to read it or do you waive the formal reading?
You don't have to read it. No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
That's fine.
All right, sir, there will be a waiver form there for you to sign and then you will be excused. Thank you, sir. Kenzel Bolton and then Ricky Brown. All right, are you Mr. Bolton? All right, good afternoon, sir. Sir, you are charged with simple battery. Your bond is $5,000. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Kanya LaShawn Colton, date of birth December 13th, 2001, and not to violate any laws while on bond. Do you understand that, sir? All right, sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges? I couldn't hear you.
I said, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir, it will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, sir. All right, and are you Mr. Brown? And then next will be Marquis Collins. All right. Are you Mr. Ricky Brown? I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, you are charged with erratic lane change. Your bond is 500. No registration, your bond is 500. Striking a fixed object, your bond is 1,500. Obstructing an officer, your bond is 1,500. Violation of license restriction, your bond is 500. And reckless driving, your bond is 1,500. All right. And you have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Do you understand that, sir? All right. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Ma'am? Ma'am?
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
What do that mean?
Do you understand what you're charged with, or do you want me to read the affidavit from the officer?
I understand.
Okay. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing? All right. Your preliminary hearing will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, sir.
I'm going out.
Yes, come on.
Yes, you have a bond. All right. Are you Mr. Collins? All right. Good afternoon, sir. And then next will be Gerard Franklin. Mr. Collins, you are charged with unregistered vehicle. Your bond is 500. Fleeing from a police officer, your bond is 1,500, and reckless driving, your bond is 1,500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right, sir, they will have a waiver form there for you to sign, and then you will be excused. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Gerard Franklin, and then Kobe Grayer. Are you Mr. Franklin? Are you Mr. Gerard Franklin?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, you are charged with simple assault. Your bond is $3,000. Terroristic threats or acts, your bond is $2,000. Possession of marijuana, 1 ounce or less, your bond is $1,500. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Jonathan Miller and not to violate any laws while on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Ma'am.
All right. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
Ma'am, what is that?
It's your probable cause hearing in magistrate court. I can either set it for November 3rd, or you can waive it and expedite your case to state court.
November 3rd is okay.
All right, so it'll be November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, sir. Kobe Grayer.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon, sir. And then next will be Marquez Holmes. Mr. Grayer, you're charged with obstruction of an officer. After reading the warrant, I did not find probable cause for the charge, so I dismissed it. So you'll be released after they process all of the paperwork after the hearing. So
Yes.
it'll be a while, but once they process the paperwork, this charge is going to be dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir. Marquez Holmes,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then Cornelius Lester. All right. Are you Mr. Holmes?
No.
All right, sir, you are charged with violation of the seatbelt law. Your bond is $500. Possession of a firearm by a felon, your bond is $10,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. All right, sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is November 8th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, sir. Cornelius Lester, and then Devontae Minor. All right, are you Mr. Lester?
Yeah.
All right, good afternoon, sir. All right. You are charged with violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, MDMA. Your bond is $10,000. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession with intent, crack cocaine, your bond is $10,000. Possession of drug-related objects, your bond is $1,000. Fleeing from police officers. No, wait, reckless driving, your bond is $1,500. Fleeing from police officers, $1,500. Trafficking, violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, and methamphetamine, you have no bond set on that charge. You'll have to have a bond hearing before a superior court judge due to the trafficking charge. And then possession of marijuana, 1 ounce or less, your bond is $1,500. All right. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
You say I have, excuse me, ma'am, you say I have a trafficking charge?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, from my understanding, when he first locked me up, it was my daughter, my niece, and her boyfriend in the car. And he said that he found purses and all kind of stuff out there. My thing is, he charged me at first with reckless driving because of the car didn't have brakes and stuff on it. And I told him about the marijuana. And now,
Okay, so I don't have the officer or the prosecutor here. It's not a hearing. So I'm just here to kind of let you know what your bond is.
trafficking, what? So altogether, how much my bond?
Well, you don't have a bond because you have a trafficking charge. So I'm going to have to set a bond hearing before a superior court judge. You do have a bond on the other charges, but not on the trafficking charge. The other 2 drug charges, $10,000 apiece, drug-related objects, $1,000, reckless driving, $1,500, fleeing and obstructing an officer, $1,500 on both, and then possession of marijuana is $1,500. So that's like 12. It's about 33,000. I'm not sure. I'll try to add it up quickly. And then no bond on the trafficking.
Can I
All
ask
right.
you?
Let me see. Sir, I'm going, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
When you say that, what you mean, ma'am?
Do you understand what you're charged with, or do you want me to read the affidavit from the officer?
I just want to know what the trafficking is. Like, they charge me trafficking cocaine. But
You want me to read the affidavit from the officer?
no, ma'am, it's long. It's long.
Okay.
But my whole thing.
Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is November 8th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201, and your bond hearing is November 20th at 8 in courtroom 201. All right. Thank you, sir. Devontae Minor.
How you doing, Bill?
After Mr. Minor will be Trey Trevelyan. All right. Mr. Minor, you're charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $1,500. Sir, you have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Also to have no violent or harassing contact with Gabriella Watkins. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing? All right, sir, they will have a waiver form there for you to sign, and then you'll be excused.
I have one question, ma'am. You said
Okay,
contact with her?
you can have contact, but it cannot be of a violent or harassing nature. All right,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Trey Trevelyan and then Jabari Wilson.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you Mr. Trevelyan?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, you are charged with 2 counts of theft by shoplifting. Your bond is $2,000 on each count. Sir, you have a special condition not to return to or go upon the premises located at 7179 Highway 85 in Riverdale, DTLR. Also not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir, your preliminary hearing will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, and you, Mr. Wilson? All right, and then next will be Marlon Turner. All right, sir, you're charged with obstructing an officer. Your bond is $1,500. Sir, I'm going to release you on a signature bond. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
No.
I couldn't hear you. You said yes?
Yes.
All right. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Since I'm releasing you on a signature bond, I need for you to sign a waiver of the preliminary hearing, and then you will get your next court date in the mail. Thank you, sir. Marlon Turner.
Was he an add-on judge?
Yes, this is the last person I have on the
We-
calendar. It said he was an add-on.
I didn't receive the info, but I can get him up here if you give me about.
His LE number is 215-2858.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm checking on it right now, and I'll get him up as soon as possible.
All right, thank you.
Sorry about that. Sorry for the delay, Your Honor. Okay, say your name.
Marlon Turner.
All right, Mr. Turner, how you doing this afternoon?
How you doing today, ma'am?
Good. I'm Judge Salvia Fox. I'm going to be doing your first appearance this afternoon. Sir, you have two charges: a stop sign violation. Your bond is $500, and driving while license suspended. Your bond is $1,500. So a total of $2,000 for both charges. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. All right. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges? Do you want me to read the affidavit from the officer, or do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am. I'm understanding what I'm charged with.
All right. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing, it will be set for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201, or you have the option of waiving that hearing to expedite your case to state court. And if you waive it, you'll get a hearing date in state court in 7 to 10 days. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing? Are you going to bond out?
Yes, ma'am. So I do have
If you
bond.
bond out, it's going to automatically be waived by law. It's just for people that are still detained to see whether or not there's probable cause.
Okay, yeah. So whatever's way quickest, because I PCS back to Fort Leonard Wood sometime in November. Well, November the 10th, actually. So whatever way is quickest, the way I can get this off my record and I get back to my duty station.
Well, it's really not about quick. Like I said, if you bond out, then it's automatically going to be waived. But if you don't bond out and you're still in our jail, then you have the option of having the hearing November 3rd in magistrate court, or you can waive that hearing and your case can go to state court to be resolved, and you'd have a hearing in state court in 7 to 10 days. So do you want to keep the November 3rd date, or do you want to waive it?
We can keep the November 3rd date. If that's
Okay. And then, like I said, if you bond out, that will automatically be waived, and you'll get your next court date in the mail.
okay. That's fine, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to set it for November 3rd at 8 o'clock in courtroom 201. And if you bond out before November 3rd, then you'll get your next court date in the mail.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Got this.
All right. That's all I have. Do you all have anyone else there?
No, Your Honor, that's gonna do it.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Your Honor.
Hi, Judge.
All right. Bye.